Hello and welcome. I'm Shadow of Shadow Gaming, bringing you Programming with Shadow, episode number 77. In today's lesson, we're going to be continuing our leaderboard, and today we're going to implement the binary tree into the leaderboard. So this is this project's something we're doing as a test, or to make use of some of the data structures we had, and may not necessarily be the best use of stuff, but at least it demonstrates somehow you could use everything. So we're going to look at the case 6 here today, show rankings. So last time we implemented a show top players, and we're doing that with a heap. Show rankings is going to do something very similar, but this time we're going to use a red-black tree. And we may, as I mentioned before, we may do both. We may come back and do AVL and just for comparison, but we're going to do red-black tree today. So let's go ahead and get started. If we come down to the bottom, we really need to separate this file out. After this one, I'll probably do that. But we'll come down here to red-black tree. So the first thing we're going to do, we're not going to need the node outside of the class. So what we're going to do is come over here to our visualizer, and we're just going to grab the code we need. So let's see. Red-black tree node color, and then node. We'll grab the node first, so I'm just going to grab this. We're going to make this private, so private class, and then we need a node color. Grab it as well. Node color here. All right, that should be what we need for that. So we'll make it a private class here. The reason I'm making it private class is I don't think I need them from outside. I don't believe. All right, so that pretty much gets us set. The next thing we will need, let's see, is there any change I want to make here? I don't think there was. I think this is what I wanted. Yeah, we'll use the same color, value color for the moment. We may adjust that later, but I think we'll start with that. So the actual functionality we're going to actually need is we'll need the insert, the search, the delete, and we're going to have one more method that we didn't have before of a in order traversal. So we'll have a public list of player traverse in order, and that's what we're going to use to get our rankings. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back over here, and we are going to grab the main red-black tree class. I think we're just going to grab everything inside here and we'll edit it, and let's see if that's not easier. I think it's not going to be that complicated to copy over. Minimum transplant, yeah, everything. So we'll copy this. Let's go back over here and paste. All right, there is an error, but I think that's expected. So we'll have the root. So that's saying it's the accessibility of red-black nodes it's not publicly accessible, basically. So we'll need to make that private. So I think that's fine, because I don't see us needing that outside of this. We're going to have that traverse in order method, and I think it'll handle all that. So here, and I'm going to rename it now that it's not public. We'll rename it to root. Okay. So let's begin with insert. So insert, we're going to insert a player instead of an integer. So we do need to make a change down here. So this will be player. Oh, wait a minute. I want to keep that one value. Let's make this player. So I'm going to just say it's node value, and that's a player. In fact, let's do one more. Control RR player here as well. There. So now that broke a few more things, but let's go check that out. So now we insert a player and we insert a node, which makes sense still. So let's see. I'll probably want to remove this, probably. I think that everything else stays the same though, so let's go ahead and go to the helper. So while current is not null, so here's the first thing we're going to need to deal with. So let's make a change here. Let's go down here to the node. Let's make this player. Control RR player. So I think that'll make it clearer up there where as we work through that. So now this is node player. So now we need to compare what we're searching for. So I'm going to start by just doing it as score. And we're going to do a to do here. Consider overriding. So we'll consider doing that and make it so we can actually tell if a player's less than or greater than based on score or something. But for now, we'll just do that. So one other thing here, let's do another, we'll do a second to do here. To do, I think this sign will need flipped. So I believe this will give us the scores from lowest to smallest. I think we want to flip that. But we'll do that in the next step. If we come down here, same problem, player dot. We're comparing scores, so I believe we want to flip that as well. Do probably flip. And there's another one down here. So find node. So I think it's the same thing here. So we're saying value and we're comparing it with player, and I don't think that's what we want. We want to compare it with the player's score. So let's do find node. We're going to find is it value? Wait a minute. I think it should be find player as well, right? This one should be player. So we're searching for that player, and we're searching for this player. Maybe. There we go. All right, so current equals value, right? So that's going to make use of we made the player a record, yeah. So this works because it's this. If this wasn't a record, this wouldn't work. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So that's one of the benefits you're getting from record, is that it already handles equality for basic cases. It does not handle score here though, so again we will have a player dot score equals player dot score. To do possibly flip. I am almost positive we're going to need to flip these signs, but we'll come back to that here once we test it. So delete player. We find the node. It's null, we return. And that's pretty much it. Is there anywhere I want to flip the sign here? Probably. I don't think there would have been actually. Yeah, I believe that's probably about it. And then we get to traverse in order. So traverse in order, we've already done an in order search, so that's what we're going to do here. You notice I don't have a parameter, so we're going to have an internal one. So private static list player traverse in order. sort of like we did before, I believe. So we'll have a list of players equals. So that's where we're going to store. And then at the end, we'll return that. So in the middle, we're just going to do our in order search. So if node, so this is the stop condition, return players, else, let's see. So we'll do traverse in order, node dot no order, node dot left. Then we'll do players dot add node dot value, so add the current one, and then we'll do traverse in order, node dot right, node dot value. Is that not correct? We renamed it player, didn't we? Something like that. So, and up here we will just return that. So return traverse in order, and we'll start from the root. So that looks like it should work. There's a problem here though. We're not adding it to the list. So each one of these returns a list, so we'll need to add them. So I think we've used this before, but there is a player dot add range, players dot add range. So add range just is add multiple values, so it's adding the list to a list basically. We'll need to do that on both. And I think this will get us our red black tree mostly ready. So let's come up here. Let's go ahead and hook this up. So let's see. So the leaderboard manager. So we will need a public list player, and we could use the same method for both, and we would always be searching the same tree. But this could technically work. But let's do get rankings. And I was telling what it's going to do is it's going to do a tree dot whatever we just called that traverse in order. So it's going to do that. But let's come up here. Let's add a tree. Private read only. Red black tree. Tree equals new. I think that should get us hooked up here, right? Yeah, so I believe that got all that hooked up. So let me scroll up here in my example and see if I had anything else that I wanted to do here. No, not really. So that pretty much gets us our get rankings then. So we can come up here and actually add a handler and actually handle that. So we'll do here handle remove players, and we'll show. Here we go. We'll add a private static void handle show rankings. Is this in parentheses? Leaderboard manager. All right. Now let's implement this. So we will do a console write line. I'm just going to say leaderboard. Let's see. Let's do a list of player rankings equal leaderboard manager dot get rankings. Now we'll just loop through these for int I equals 0, I less than rankings, count, I plus plus. We'll do player, current player equals rankings at I. So that'll get the current, and then we'll just write out that, so something like this. So I'm going to do it as a number. I plus 1 dot. So that'll give us a number there. And I may want to consider justifying that eventually. So we'll do current player dot name / t current player dot score maybe. And here we'll do a to do justify larger counts, just like the message right up above there. Let's fix counts. We'll remove the period from both. Okay. Let's add a new line after this. There. I think that pretty much gets what I want. So let's go hook up the handler now. So up here we will do this. Handle show rankings. Pass in the leaderboard manager, and I believe that's got us. So let's do a test here, and let's go ahead and see how it looks. And see if we got those signs backwards. I believe they are. So let's add a player. We'll add 1, 1, 1. Add a player. 42, 42, 42. Add a player. 2, 2, 2. Add a player. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Add a player. 7, 7, 7. Add one more. We'll do 17, 17, 17. One more, 3, 3, 3. All right, so now we've got several players in our leaderboard. Let's see if we look at the top 5, maybe. Top 5, 99, 42, 17, 7, and 3. Sounds good. All right, now let's look at the rankings. So show rankings. It shows nothing, so we have a bug. Okay, so let's see where we have a bug. So we'll stop this and let's see what happened. Oh, I know exactly what happened. Never mind. So I added these here. We need to actually hook these up. So we will do tree.insert player. So we didn't actually insert the player here. So here tree.delete player ID. Wait a minute. All right, so there's one thing we're going to have to consider. So the remove player there, it's not doing what we want it to do. So let's do it like this. Let's do let's implement find player here. Let's do this. We'll do underscore equals player dot. So it's a dictionary. So there's a method to try get value. There we go. Try get value, and we'll pass in the player ID out var player and return player. So if we look at this method, if it's true, it gets the value, otherwise false. And in the false case, it gives you default. You'll have to look up apparently it doesn't say that here, but you get the default for your case, and in our case, player should be null. So that should work fine for our case here. So now let's grab that. So up here in there, delete, let's do a player to remove equals find player and pass in player ID. So if player to remove is null, return false. So go ahead and be defensive there. Else we'll remove player. To do should use player instead of ID. Same thing here. To do should use player instead of ID. And then we just do player to remove. That should get everything cooked up now. And we added a find player. As you can tell by find player, it's not that complicated. So now let's give it a try and let's see what happened. So 1, we'll add 1, 1, 1, 4, 4, 4, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 42, 42, 42, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 9, 9, 9, 1, 3, 3, 3, 3. Alright, so there we've added several players. If we show the top 5 again, looks reasonable. Now let's generate the rankings. Let's see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's in order. I'm imagining the higher score is better though, so I was right. So we need to go flip the sign, so let's go do that. So good thing we added the to-dos, possibly flip here. So I believe it's just going to be as simple as just flipping these, and we'll delete the to-do, hopefully. Let's leave the to-do just a second. We'll flip it in just a second, just in case I'm wrong on what I have to do here. So we'll flip this one, and we will flip this one. All right, let's take a look. We'll have to add these again. 1, 1, 1, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Oops. So there's just a problem, but here, let's do this like this. Let's do let's do generate players. Let's go ahead and implement it. So let's do handle generate players. So this, we're not going to do it the good way yet. We will come back to that. I want it at the bottom instead of wherever it's going to put it. Let's do private static void handle generate players leaderboard manager. So we will do leaderboard manager dot add player, new player, 1, 1, 1. We'll do something like that, and we'll just do this for the moment. There will be my 9, 9, 9. So I'm imagining in the future making this to be use random numbers, maybe generate some random scores and stuff. For now, I'm just going to leave it as a test client here. Three, 7, 7, 7, 9, 9, 9. All right, so that should generate us a test. There's some test data. We'll do 7 there, bunch of inserts, so should be good. Show top players, top 5, good. All right, I didn't mean to do that. We'll add 4, 4, 4. Now let's show rankings and let's see if it's ordered properly. So 99, 42, 9, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that seems pretty good. So one thing I see there is that maybe as that gets bigger, we won't want to show them all together. So maybe there'll be some functionality in the future to maybe split it up and just show maybe the top so many, or I guess that's doing the same thing. Maybe we showed 10 positions starting from a specific position, maybe. So maybe we say like we ask for a number there and say give me 10 positions starting at 30, maybe something like that. Maybe that could be interesting, but I'll have to think on that, but that might be something we could do. That wouldn't be hard to code around. But yeah, so that's adding a tree functionality. So that wasn't too complicated. So what other classes do we need to handle? Find player and update score. Find player we've already handled, so let's do this. Let's do to do I'm imagining is being more random and hard coded. Alright, so there's just a to do. Let's come down here, let's go remove these to dos. This one as well. You can tell I had trouble keeping track of which one of these was correct. So let's do this. Let's push these out to a file. This file's 800 lines long. It's pretty big. Let's just make it its own file. Control dot. Move to red white tree. We'll do that here to the heap as well. Control class. Control dot. Maybe we won't do that. There we go. Move that to its own class. Move the leaderboard manager to its own class. Move the player to its own class. Delete that line, and I think that's good enough for now. So now we made this file a lot shorter at the expense of stuff being spread out a little more, but in general, I like that a little better as long as things make sense to be together. So I'm thinking maybe we want to maybe we want to tackle, since we got some time, maybe we want to tackle one of these to-dos or two of these, and maybe this one. So to justify the counts, it's not really that complicated, I don't think. So let's do this. Let's do what? I think there might even be a control character for that. What I was thinking of was to just do this. You know what? Wait a minute. Let's see if there's a control sequence we can do here. Let me do a little bit of Googling real quickly. Okay. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do is it D2? Let's try that. I didn't want to hit breakpoints. So this is one of them I don't use a lot of, so let's do that. Let's well, we need more players than that. Four, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9. We already did a 9. 10, 10, 10. that should be enough. So now let's do show rankings. No, show top players. We will show 11. Yeah, there we go. So there's a little bit better. So add some padding there. So let's do it like this. Let's do here, for top players. Let's come down to the handler for top players. Let's add a I'm going to remove that and add a console.writeLine after it. So here, when we're doing the justification, let's do it ever so slightly differently. All right, so we know we can do that. So let's see if we can do this. So maybe not. What I'm thinking is, how would I do it if I don't know the number I'm going to have? D2, so that's 2 digits. So I'm guessing maybe I just do it. Maybe we just do it ourselves. I bet there's probably a built-in way to do it, but I actually don't know what it is right offhand. So I guess I would probably, if I was doing that, I probably would do a separate function, I guess. So the other way we could do that, if we don't want to do it ourselves, there's I guess we could do the way I was starting to do it. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do string display count equals count plus 1. I need to surround that in parentheses. So this is what I started to do. Dot pad the left side, and we will do. We need the length there, so we will do top players dot count probably. That seems wrong. Wait a minute. I want to know the number of digits. Easiest way I can think to do that, I guess we could do a toString here. So that'll get us the number, and then we can just do dot length, and then we can put a 0 on. I think that will, something like that will work actually. Oh, I used it up here. We can just reuse it. Oh, it's a string. We'll just call it display for the moment. Let's do come up with better name. So I think this will do it though. Let's test this. And let's come down here to this. I wasn't going to do it just yet, but let's do this. Let's do console.writeLine, enter a number of players to generate, and that should be right instead of writeLine. So we will do we'll do string number to generate equals console.readLine or empty string. Now we will just do that. So let's get the number. So we will do int number to generate equals int parse number to string. Get rid of that. Now we'll just do for int I equals 0, I less than number to generate, I plus plus. Now we'll do leaderboard dot add player, new player, passing in I for the ID, I dot to string for the name, and for the score we could just do it number, but that's going to be, we're always going to get the same numbers then. This is where I'm thinking of doing the random, so we could do a random r equals new, and now we can just say r dot next let's see, we want it to go from 0 to, and 1,000 and I may not even want it to be 1,001. I may just want it to go up to 999. We'll start there. And now we can just delete this helper code already. Now let's see our justification, see if that worked. No. Field error. What did I miss? That needs one, right? Needs 2. There we go. Now let's try that. Alright, so let's generate players. And we'll do 120. Alright. So now let's show the top 100. Okay, that justified it alright. Yeah, I think that'll work. So let's make sure I don't see any problems with what I did. So we take the number, add 1 because it's a count. Do that here too. Yeah, let's do this. Let's add a private string. What would be a good name for this? Added count, passing in let's make it static, passing in we will need a int count, we'll do it this int number, and then length to pad, maybe something like that. So now let's just do this. So we will do a padded string equals number. I'm not going to do the +1 here, so we'll do number to string dot pad left, length pad dot to string dot length. Just like that. That should be a method though. And this should be a character. Like that. And then we'll just return padded string. I think we can now do that. So now let's swap this out. We will do padded count, and we'll pass count +1 and top players dot count. Think that addresses justification here. So then we can do that here too. I+1. Rankings.length count. I believe that should get us there. So let's check this. So generate 100. Show rankings. Yeah, I think that did it. And I want to add a space after the selection too. I noticed that a minute ago. Yeah, that looks promising. So what I might want to do here is add some headings to this table. Let's do that. Let's do both of them. So here, after we after we do selection, we'll do CW just to add a new line there. Let's also hook this up. So let's not. We'll come back to that. So let's add our table. So we will do position /t player name /t and player score. So let's add some /t's in here. /t, and there's already one there. Let's see how that looks. I thought for a second I did that to the wrong one, but I think that's right. So let's show rankings. Oops. Yeah, they don't line up. So we'll have to adjust that. So let's get them to line up. So my first thought there is to actually instead of doing tabs, maybe we'll have to do some custom spacing actually. I thought here though, let's right justify this column maybe if we can. And then we would just put this one here as a space in between so those look normal. So yeah, let's see. I think that would look all right. So then these two would be sort of under their left aligned here at their positions, and I think that would look all right. We got, let's see, it's been 43 minutes up. Let's go ahead and do let's see, let me do a to do here. To do, let's line up the players and let's line up the headers and table. So we'll do that. That means we may end up making some more changes to the padded counts there. I think that gets us a good starting point through this though, so I think we'll call it with that one actually. So I might see if I can think of something better here to do mathematically than turn this to string and then just get the length. That seems easy. There might be something better we can do though. I actually hadn't thought of it, so we might can do something with maybe modulo and see, get it like that maybe. But we'll see. We'll see what makes sense there and do that. I guess it also means we could do the position because the position could be smaller than the number, and since position's constant, it could have to have spaces on the left side. We'll see. I'll do some thinking though on that and see what I can come up with for next time. or it might not be next time, but whenever we get back to this. So for the next time, I think what I will do is try to finish these last two sections here. So find player is going to be easy. We've already got it. We just don't have the method here to the handler yet. Update score could have a little bit of trickiness to it because you're going to have to find the player to update on both sides. So the way to update it may just be to delete them and then add them back. That may be the way we start with. So we'll see what we come up with. But I think that's going to do it for this lesson. So this has been episode, I think it was 77 with Programming with Shadow. So we'll call it here. So thanks for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.